What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we're the Wash Bros. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday evening, July 27th. So it's super hot outside. If you guys are in the southeast like us, we're in like record 100-degree heat indexes. People are at the beach, kind of the summer slump as we're talking about. So this is going to be a relevant episode 25. It's crazy we're already at 25. But I was kind of wargaming with Clay before we're hitting record here, and I think we are wanting to talk about kind of what's relevant in my business and like the direction I'm heading. Like every few years, I like to kind of have a vision of where I want to go with the business. And with recently, it's like, okay, the last couple of years, we figured out, got off the truck, scaled to two trucks. And it's like, okay, so what's that next vision? Like, where's everything going? And if you guys are in the pressure washing space, you kind of are feeling this year's been a little more of a rough year of is like, hey, if you're just purely in the residential game, everybody's doing this. Like, and what we want to talk about this episodes is going forward, like what direction I personally want to make my company and how I'm going to do that. But more importantly, how you scale or diversify services and how you position yourself to stay ahead of the market without destroying what you have going. And that's a huge factor. And if you've listened to the podcast before, you understand that like we're not trying to make fun of these types of people, but it's the shiny object syndrome. We don't want to say, oh my gosh, I built a pressure washing company to $100,000. I'm going to pick up Christmas lights tomorrow. That's going to set yourself up for failure as you're going to confuse your audience. You're not going to do a good job of delivering. And as Clay and I always talk about, hey, if you want to maximize the pressure washing, you got to be ready to hit it hard and be the top guy in that spring, summer, and maybe a little bit in the fall. So what I want to do is kind of talk about high level my next vision, my next moves, and we'll go from there. And I'll let Clay kick this thing off. So there's the first couple minutes of a rant, but I feel like it's kind of an exciting time for me as I've been sitting on this for a little bit and just kind of seeing the directions of the market. So you want to kick this thing off, Clay?
Yeah, like we were talking before we hit record, the biggest thing about trying to figure out what direction you go, we see so many guys doing so many different services. But as me and Matt were talking about behind the scenes here, if you dilute yourself, you're not showing as much value for your brand. So it's all about trying to make sure you position yourself correctly and to making sure that you're still providing that value because you can add Christmas lights, you can add sanding, sealing. You can add whatever else everybody offers in our space as pressure washers. But if you're offering that as a pressure washing company, it doesn't show as much value as if you were a per se a just a sealing company. So if I were to hire, if I needed some sealing done at my house, more than likely, unless I mean, I don't really know. More than likely, I'm going to hire the guy that does sealing for a living, not the guy that does pressure washing for a living. Or if another example would be as far as for Christmas lights, I'm going to hire the guy that puts up lights every day, like landscaping lights or the hardscape lights or whatever they're doing, versus the guy that does Christmas lights, just seasonal, and they're a pressure washing company. So just small things like that. Even with the training that you have, a consumer doesn't know that you've been to these training classes. They don't know that you've been to the proper classes to know what bulb is what or how to hang the bulbs. Or I don't think a consumer really gives a crap about if the bulb is in the point of the eave or any of that. I don't know much about Christmas lights. I'm just speaking out my butt here. But anyway, the point is you want to provide as much value as you can. You want to position yourself from the outside looking in. Nobody gives a crap, and I've said it many times. Nobody cares about your 10-gallon machine with your whatever nozzle, fancy nozzle you got, or what chemical you're cleaning with the whatever cookbook these guys are talking about. I've never even had a cookbook or whatever they talk about with a chemical. The consumer does not care. They just want their house cleaned. They want it to look good when they leave, and that's it, right? And providing value, and they want to feel confident when hiring you. I think that's the most important thing. How can I make my customer feel important, and how can I make them be confident in hiring me? So just stop. I mean, that's me and Matt are kind of in the same position. I've been got off the truck. I don't really care to get out and pressure wash anymore. And I'm thinking, okay, what can I do without devaluing my company?
100%. And it's a natural progression. You're so growth minded. Hey, like you start a business, you hit the ground running, you max out yourself on the truck, and then you're used to that quality of like grind and business momentum. And then you get off the truck, you start to see, oh man, there's like levels to this game. So you start to see trends. You're like, okay, you're not going to notice the ebbs and flows of the season as much when you're a solo guy on a truck. You're going to be like, oh, cool. If I'm doing 40, $50,000 a month, like killing myself. And then in the slower season or the off season, I'm able to do like still around 25, $30,000. You're still busy most parts of the day. So when you start to get off the truck, you start to notice, hey, there's a lot of growth potential around. There's opportunity. Like, what more can I get? And the position I'm in is, since like over the years we've been so heavy in the residential side of things, we're noticing a slip just with this market being flooded, with the market being like full of newbies. And I've just noticed in the summertime, it's been hard to even close our bare minimum of like a $300 average ticket, or it's not a $300 average ticket, a $300 minimum service ticket. And that with a mix of lead flow going down, it's like, okay, what are the strategic maneuvers I need to make to get out of, I'm seeing the writing on the wall. Like after COVID, everybody flooded pressure washing. Yeah, it's a great business model. Don't give it up. However, figure out how to position yourself with the expertise you have, with your brand in the marketplace, to make slight pivots here and there to therefore like maximize what you're able to do. Like we show up every day, we want to work, we want to grind. We don't want to be doing this in a business that's kind of going to the wrong direction. So smart businesses evolve, smart businesses pivot. And what's been kind of my thing in the last year or so is like I've been able to, with like my brand positioning and all that stuff, get more into commercial work, which has been awesome. And that's one pivot I'm liking to make. And I've also last year or 2 years ago, we picked up like a sealing division. So with paver sanding, paver sealing, that's great. I have a guy exclusively, Aaron. He's my go-to guy for that. So like again, when I added this service, I'm not taking my pressure washing guys off of pressure washing every day. Like, and then like the momentum of my day is to push pressure washing as like our primary service. Like when I'm saying we want to expand, we don't want to pull our trucks off of pressure washing and have them do concrete sealing. Because to Clay's point, like a customer, when they're looking to have something sealed and they're spending thousands of dollars, they don't want to hire a guy who's a jack of all trades. And we don't want to lose our momentum from pressure washing to try to make a $10,000 job and then lose more money in revenue from pressure washing because we're muddying ourselves out. So that's kind of the approach. It's like I'm very careful with how I make decisions to pivot. But when opportunities present themselves, you almost have to be open minded to like lean into them and to go there, or like say a complementary service. And what I'm in now is like, okay, what services can I add to still maintain that like premier pressure washing company, yet we have other add-on services that allow us to make revenue here and there as like an upsell on a customer, or loop in a customer who, hey, I just want my concrete sealed. Cool, we can clean that. And um like what could that even evolve into in the commercial side? Say like sealing, if we're concrete sealing and paver sealing, what about seal coating? What about other things that kind of fit in that alignment? If you're going after a certain commercial client and you're able to deliver the services they need without diluting it too far. So that's kind of the position I'm in now where, hey, pressure washing, it's great, but we're chasing $500 tickets and we're moving the needle. It's great. It keeps guys going. It's got great cash flow. But with the economy how it is, as far as looking to scale, what are some bigger moves that we can make that really align ourselves with the brand mission that we have of like serving the upstate in our full capacity? So you got any?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things we were talking about this before as well is okay, this doesn't really pertain to the guys where it's like starts getting cold, I guess September, October, where it's just freaking freezing and you can't even pressure wash. But any of the guys where, we only have 2 weeks, I think, of really cold weather where we can't work. And that's pretty much on average, maybe 3 weeks, when you have days here and there, whatever. But the biggest thing is a lot of guys are getting stuck. They say, okay, August, they pretty much take their focus off of washing. So you're from August to January, February, most of you guys that do Christmas lights, that's all you guys are thinking about. you're completely forgetting about pressure washing. You're leaving so much revenue on the table. I wash all the way to second, third week of December, right before Christmas, because that's when everybody's getting ready. And then we slow down in January, and then February we're back up. So you're leaving a lot of money on the table, focusing on those ooh and ahs and whatever guru is talking on the internet that you're looking at, right? So you're leaving a lot of money not focusing and trying to master the pressure washing game. You've already given up. You've already listened to all the people that are on the internet saying, "Oh, it's Christmas time now. We can do Christmas lights and make bazillion of dollars, however much money they're talking about. You can make so much money, but the profit margin, I mean, pressure washing is just good. You're a pressure washer. Be a pressure washer. Show value in pressure washing. Don't show value in Christmas lights. Maybe like Matt's saying, open another division, saying, okay, this, or maybe another LLC or something, and say, okay, this is whatever. Just open another division or company that pertains just to Christmas lights. Show more value, and then have other guys still pressure washing. You're leaving so much money on the table by doing that. Because
And
another reason is going into January, February, you're wrapping up the Christmas lights, taking all these lights down. Well, you're already behind per se me or Matt because we have been focusing on pressure washing the same time. So you can make just as much money pressure washing as you can pressure washing and lights. I mean, I've heard it. I've heard guys talk about the revenue they're doing with lights and pressure washing together. And me and Matt still 9 times out of 10 do more than the guys doing better.
and to like, I hear as well. Granted, I can't speak because this is not what I personally run, but like, yeah, you put up a lot of revenue, you keep your guys busy. The lights are great to keep payroll moving, right? So it's like, okay, cool. I don't want to let go of my guys in the wintertime. Like, how can I keep the ball rolling? How can I stay busy? How can I move the needle in my business? And kind of to Clay's point, you don't want to dilute yourself to the point where you're like, oh man, I'm jumping on trends here, because what's going to be the next thing when everybody's doing Christmas lights and it's driven the market value down, almost like pressure washing is. You got people who are cleaning houses for $99 like in every market now. And it used to be a joke of like, oh, these highly saturated Florida markets, like somebody's going to pressure wash your house for 99 bucks. But like you're starting to see that in all these markets because the YouTube guys, or because every kid 16 years old, there's a company I saw, there's a sign where they put it up on Woodruff Road, a main area in our town. And the company's name was like Saving for College Pressure Washing. Like that's fantastic. But literally like you're competing in a market with stuff like that, whether it be like this kid is trying to put up Christmas lights, this kid's trying to do this kid's trying to do that. And that style of marketing, that guerrilla marketing is fantastic if you're starting from scratch. But as a legitimate business, as a business where you're an expert in a field, like Clay and I both have the best in the upstate for pressure washing. So we're both trying to lean on that. Like we want to lean on, hey, we're the top guys for pressure washing. We are sitting on top of Google. Our objective is to maintain that image. We don't want to say, oh, best in the upstate for this. And then now we picked up something completely out of left field over here and we do this too. Or, oh, we're doing sod installs too. Or like, I know when the hurricane hit, a lot of people jumped into like, oh, we're doing leaf removal, or we're doing tree removal. We're cutting down trees. And meanwhile, like, yeah, our revenue may have dipped a little bit because we weren't diversified into that. We were still hitting hard, hitting home, like pressure washings are number one. But I guess my point is, as you get to a certain level and kind of position where I'm at too, it's like, where do we start saying, like Clay says, create another LLC or create some differentiate? You can still control it and do it, but create a differentiation between, hey, Matt, the driveway guy, this, and pressure washing, and then other tiers of what services you're doing. And I think that's kind of the pivot I'm looking to have. I've I've shifted my marketing this year on social media, and I've really tried to like position my brand a little heavier into like commercial. And I've noticed it's attracting a different type of customer. I'm no longer getting those like lower ticket residential like Facebook groups like who can pressure wash my 2,800 square foot house request, but I'm more trying to position more into like how can I go after like cities, or how can I go after facility directors and stuff like that. And as far as like Clay's point with the ceiling, paver ceiling, that's a different type of customer. Like we have people, I had a customer in the Cliffs. She reached out. She's like, "Hey, I want to use you guys for ceiling. you guys have a ton of reviews on Google, but I see a lot of them are pressure washing reviews. So almost to Clay's point there, like somebody's looking to hire somebody that's an expert in that field. So like how we have done it, I've pretty much said, hey, look, we have a completely separate division where we run our paver sealing and our paver sanding. So I wanted to differentiate myself and say, look, I don't have a guy pressure washing one day and he's going to go out and try to sand and seal your pavers the next day. Like we have an exclusive team that focuses purely on that. And then the woman was cool with that. And I was like, hey, just as you see us focus and dedicate ourselves to being a top pressure washing company, we have that same level of focus and dedication to this other service item. And I think as you get to the point of growth, when you want to add on other services, it's extremely important that you're able to maintain that quality control and that focus upon each service.
Yeah, you don't want to look like a handyman. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't want to be a painter or putting up ceiling fans. I actually had a property management company call me a couple weeks ago and said, "Hey, you watched this big building for us back in February, but just wanted to know if we've had a storm come through and it busted out a window at this building. Will you mind going and boarding it up?" I said, "Sir, I'm a pressure washing company. If I go through and I put a board up for you and something happens, it is my responsibility. I'm liable for whatever happens. I'm not interested. I am just a pressure washing company." They called me again a few weeks later, said, "Clay, there's some ceiling tiles missing in the parking garage. Can you go fix those for us?" "Sir, I told you a couple weeks ago, I'm just a pressure washing company." So it just shows more value. I kind of stay pretty firm with that. And, I think it's perfectly cool if you want to add those services, but you got to do it an appropriate way to be able to provide more value. You don't want to be a pressure washer cutting grass. I've just seen a lot of landscape guys doing that. It just doesn't make sense to me as a business guy from a business standpoint.
I fully agree with you there because every landscape guy has started to try to learn how to soft wash, how to pressure wash. And then you don't want to loop into like, oh well, if your selling point to a customer is like, hey, we're an exclusive pressure washing company, and then you have these kind of add-on ancillary services that aren't put together in the appropriate way where you're like, look, we have a dedicated team that does this and they run exclusively with this in its own siloed section, you're almost diluting everything you've built up. Like you're trying to be like number one pressure washing. You're trying to say, hey, look, it's our objective. My desk is adjusting. Problems of
Uh oh.
fancy desk.
Yeah.
But I'll just bend down to complete the episode. It's one of those fancy stand up desks that move up and down.
Oh, okay.
But you get to a point where like Clay says, you don't want to spend so long building a brand and then you pivot and then customers say, hey, you used to be great when you did this, but now you're no longer doing that. It's almost the same thing when somebody buys up a company and say, hey, this guy who ran an exclusive pressure washing business did fantastic. They get a new owner. The new owner tweaks a couple things, and then they don't want to lose. They don't want to use those people anymore. And it's whether you still control the company or if you don't control the company. If you make a pivot, you might make yourself look more as a generalist as opposed to a specialist.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot at that point. You've worked so hard to build a brand, so hard to build a value. I'm the best pressure washer. I can do this. I can do that. I've cleaned these buildings. I've cleaned those buildings. But hey, now I'm offering. I cut grass now, or hey, I paint now, or hey, I stay now. Create another division. Create a brand for it. Somehow put your twist on it. Don't just add a million services and say, "Oh, I can paint. Oh, I can fix your ceiling fan." Oh, at that point, you're just a handyman. So you might as well say, "Oh, I'm Joe's handyman service," or something like that. And it just cuts down your value. And at that point, it's just hard to structure your business if you're doing a million different things. It's hard to know, like, hey, okay, hey, this month I want to hit 70 grand. Well, how am I going to get there? How much? How you just if you're doing a million different things, you don't know how to properly scale your business. You don't know what numbers you got to hit. You don't. It's just all over the place.
Fully agree. And I guess too, the point being, if we're not necessarily talking to somebody who's hey, say you're running a $500,000 $1 million business. Yeah, sure, if you want to add on services, that's amazing. And that's kind of the position where I'm at now. I just don't want somebody to say, hey, I'm doing $100,000. I just started this business. I don't really have a clear defined brand yet. I'm looking to build this clear defined brand. I'm doing the work myself. I think the key indicator there is like if you're especially doing all this work yourself, you don't really have any business really diversifying out. If you're having to pull your team that pressure washes to put up Christmas lights, you're not really doing yourself a service. And we run into this a lot with competitors or local guys or hey man, can you help me out in the winter because I pulled my pressure washing trucks off? Can I do work with you? Can I sub you work? Can I sub this? You don't want to lose your client base. You don't want to lose your marketplace value by being that guy who's like, sorry, like we're busy for 3 months because we're not pressure washing right now. We're doing Christmas lights. We don't want to do that. We want to figure out like, okay, how you build your team for pressure washing. Copy paste that formula, build those systems out. And if you want to add on services through like Clay says, put a twist to it. Say, hey, look, like we're our ceiling division. Like we're a different division within Matt the Driveway Guy, but we're still the leader in pressure washing. And it's really important that you don't just jump ship to another shiny object because there's going to be so many trends. Every guru and mastermind is saying, "Oh, this is the new thing. Go stripe parking lots." Cool. Like that may be a great opportunity for you, but make sure if you're going about it, you're doing it correctly. Like I would love to look into like higher quality ceiling services. We pressure wash some of these tennis courts and then it's like higher end stuff. But I wouldn't do it like Matt the Driveway Guy pressure washing with that. I would figure out how to create like a different LLC or create something under the umbrella of Matt the Driveway Guy, but it would be exclusively its own beast with its own marketing, with its own professional, with its own team. I'm not trying to sit over here and say, hey, look, I can paint your house while I'm pressure washing your house and then I can seal your driveway. That may be great to have one in a few people might say, "Oh, that's fantastic! You're going to do everything one stop, one shop guy." But overall, that's not going to do the best thing for your brand. Like it's almost like with Google, we're trying to lock down certain keywords. We're not trying to say, "Oh, we're the best at everything on Google." Google's going to reward that guy who's like SEO for like Greenville, South Carolina pressure washing. This is your one guy. And we're not here trying to, well, I want to do gutter cleaning and I want to do roof washing and I want to do that. You almost have to pick that niche and be that number one guy in that niche. So, like, you get to the phase where Clay and I are in, where we're like looking forward to that next pivot. Yeah, sure. Almost do it where maybe there's like a partnership in something, or you find somebody who's already the top in the field, and you like kind of buy in with them, and then you do a little work like that. Don't just start something and then 4 years later start something completely different, and then expect both of them to juggle and not have like diminishing returns on your business.
Well, the biggest thing is like, okay, you're starting over again. And then a lot of the things that I see with the mistakes that people make is they say, okay, I'm done with pressure washing. And then they take all their attention off of pressure washing. They don't care about it anymore. They're not putting in the work every day like they used to. And they're worried about this other one. Well, if the other one fails, then you got to go back to fall back on pressure washing, but you haven't been putting in the work. So you're back to square one, you know?
Exactly. The grass is only greener where you water it. So if you're over here trying to like get the newest grass, get new grass seed, do all this aeration, do all this crazy stuff, and your neighbor's just cutting his grass all the time, watering it when he's supposed to, he's going to out survive you, who's trying to change everything up every now and then. Because like Clay and I always talk about, it's not hard to go from zero to $100,000 in this. Every guru on Facebook is saying, "Oh, buy my course. I'm 18 years old. I had $5,000 and now I have $100,000 a year business." Cool, that's great. Most people can do that. What you're doing, if you want to make this a full-time business, if you want to make this a career, if you want to like make this your brand, you got to be specialized. You got to be an expert, and you got to be follow kind of the wash rose mindset. I didn't say, "Oh, look, there's an opportunity to do paver sealing and sanding." I'm going to say, Matt the Driveway Guy, sealing and sanding experts. I'm going to say, hey, we're still the pressure washing guy. This is what we do in a different division within our team. Because I've had this as kind of like an add-on service, and we've been able to grow it kind of passively, but I haven't taken my foot off the gas with pressure washing. Like, yeah, sure, I can go out and seal a driveway and make $1,200 in like 3 hours of time or even less, but I'm not going to take my foot off the gas of the $300 driveway cleaning job because I see that over there as a shiny object.
Yeah, well, not to mention, I don't know how sealing works. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to that services, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to hear back from the pressure washing customer before you hear back from the sealing customer. So you want to make sure you take care of those more residual people too.
100%. Yeah. The sealings, a lot of times it's one and done unless you're using like a urethane based sealer, or you're using a sealer that's like a pretty sealer and then you got to reseal like every year. But more times than not, if you're sealing a driveway, you're almost preventing yourself from cleaning it again.
Yeah, so the volume isn't there as much as pressure washing.
Not so much. It's great for average tickets and padding tickets. So that's why it's a great ancillary service. It's like pressure washing is a great thing to keep your focus on, build that business, keep your revenue, and then you can add on these add-on services, but don't jump too much into saying, "Oh my gosh, August is just around the corner. Pressure washing is getting slow. Now's the time to go all in on Christmas lights. Now's the time to go all in on these fall like seasonal services." Keep pressure washing moving forward. Keep your brand going forward with whether it's C3 Wash Pros or Matt the Driveway Guy, and then say, "Look, we do this too. We do this too." It's like, would you like fries with that? Look at Burger King. They're known for their Whopper. Look at McDonald's. They're known for their Big Mac. They're not known for all the other items on their menu, but people go there to buy other items on their menu. It's like, would you like fries with that? Of course. I came here for the Big Mac. That's what you're known for. Figure out what you're known for, and then don't let your foot off the gas. Don't say, "Look, we're McDonald's. We're known for the Big Mac. We're going to try to be the chicken sandwich people." That's Chick-fil-A. You're never going to compete with them there. So, like, those are your kind of priority services, your like top offerings. Don't sway off of that. Keep that brand intact. And then, yeah, sure, look, we're number one in pressure washing. We can do sealing as well, and we can also do painting or whatever services you want to throw on. But make sure you keep everything siloed out so you're not diluting the entirety of your brand. Like, you don't want to
I
be the
think
guy
that's a
on
great.
social media where every week you're posting a different picture of a different project. If I started posting pictures of like, "Hey, we painted this office today," or "Hey, we're doing janitorial cleaning," or "Hey, we're doing sealing today," people are gonna be like, "Wait, wait, wait! I thought this guy was the pressure washing guy," and that's how you want to, like, you don't want to sway off of that.
Definitely hard to market. Definitely hard to provide value that way if you're doing 10 different things, trying to market every one of them at the same time for sure.
Fully agree. So if you guys are adding on services, if you guys are kind of in a position of me and Clay, figure out how to do so correctly where you're not diminishing all the hard work you've built up.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're here. Transparency. We want to help you build your brand as just as good as we have. We've we've got it with the proofs in the pudding. We've got all the data to show you that we're not just talking bull crap here. We're actually trying to help people in our industry, in the home service industry. Period. So I think we've got about wrapped that one up. It's been a great episode. Actually, I've actually learned some things. I always learn some stuff from Matt, and Matt learns some stuff from me through these episodes too. So it's good to be able to share it with everybody else as well.
I think it's cool too because it's authentic and it's coming from a frame of like, this is a journal of what we're doing day to day, what our thoughts are. So if a year from now you see us have a different service item, or if you see us do this, or you see us expand into here, you can always go back to these episodes and recap what we were talking about in our moment, how our mindset was, and kind of like the pain points and the steps we took. And that's what I think is a great value of our episodes. If you look, "Oh, we're at this position. I wonder how they got there." How about you check out these older episodes and go back in time and see our thought processes, and see everything at the moment. So,
Well, not only that is they're not scripted. I mean, these are organic. This is us just talking on the fly. This isn't just something we've scripted up and wrote up or nothing like that. All of our podcasts are generic.
yep, yep, comes from a frame of authenticity, and as we work through our problems, we're helping each other grow, and then we help you grow. So,
Absolutely. But make sure you guys go give me a follow, Clay Smith, on my personal Facebook page. I am the Pressure Wash Guru on TikTok. You can follow my business page, C3 Wash Pros LLC. I'm on YouTube and on Facebook as well. All the platforms you can find us. Follow Matt's business page, Matt the Driveway Guy. He has his brand up page as well, brand up. And then Matthew Jackson on his personal page on Facebook.
no doubt. And we're working on some cool stuff with the Wash Bros. Join our community group. I think we have like 90 of you guys as members in there, trying to drop a lot of value and continuing to go forward as our busy season is kind of getting behind us. We'll be a lot more active there and work on trying to position stuff and help people grow. But I mean, this has been a great experience for Clay and I. We've been able to grow this thing. I got my stats pulled up here for the Wash Bros on this real quick. Let me just kind of see high level where we're at as far as we're getting like 700 to 1,000 downloads from you guys every month. So it's pretty cool to see the needle move and getting like almost 7,000 downloads. So like it's pretty sweet. And two, it's just kind of one of those things. It's an example of just showing up, consistency. We did this thing a year. We kind of took some time between episodes, but then we switched this year to make this more of a weekly show, and we've been able to literally put almost 6,000 new downloads on this, as 6,000 new downloads on this episode, on this show just this year. So that just shows what you can do when you show up. You're consistent. You're, like Clay said, we're not scripting these episodes. These are kind of authentic. These are spur of the moment things that are relevant to our businesses and ourselves as individuals. And I think this year is going to end up extremely great year for Clay and I both individually, and we hope for you guys too as the listeners. But like Clay says, follow us on socials, get into our group, and pretty much, hey, comment and engage with us. We love to help out. But if that's
Well,
everything, yep.
I wanted to say one more thing. If you would, guys, we're going to start having guests as well. If you would, please comment below on this live here and tell us who you'd like to see on our show.
Yeah, no doubt. That helps out. There's only so much that Clay and I can talk about. Not saying there's any less value that we can give, but it really helps out when we're on shows with other guys. Connect. So if you guys have any recommendations or you want to be on the show, comment below and we can schedule you guys in. Usually we shoot these on a Sunday, but we can be flexible with schedules. We can record in advance, and then we can just drop them at our normal hours, Sundays at 8.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you, everybody listening as always. Let's keep growing this thing.
No doubt. I'm going to drop the outro, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.